What's popping my pimples? Welcome back to Wallace Probably Wells. Today in Strange Lost Media Finds, long-lost Sonic Adventure models for Sonic, Tails, and Robotnik were found in a random weather report from 1998. Reactions to this discovery have been incredible to say the least, with the actual story behind the discovery and the segment itself being even funnier. But before we jump into this crazy story, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Sonic content like this. It all started with this Twitter account that has a handle I'm not even gonna bother to pronounce, so we'll just be calling them by their username, Ryuko, instead. You see, Ryuko here is known to post old Japanese VHS recordings onto their account. This usually consists of different Japanese TV shows and anime from the 80s and 90s, alongside the different commercial breaks in between. On March 26, 2026, they uploaded a segment from the children's morning show, Oasuda, specifically the segment that aired on July 17th, 1998. What made this episode interesting was the sponsors behind it, being PlayStation, Nintendo, and Sega. While a lot of this episode's focus was on the first Pokemon movie, during a weather report segment called Koro Koro Tenki Kids, lied this footage. Now, this particular footage was reposted by another VHS enthusiast on Twitter who goes by @saving_Ohara. And from there, the footage spread across Twitter, with many people unable to contain their excitement for this bizarre find. Funkin03 sharing, "I'm going insane! Look at him!" Sonic Twitter darling Harley stating, "The baby!" Another Twitter user, MainJPW, shares a pretty interesting piece of information saying, "Was wondering when this would be discovered. Some Italian Dreamcast magazines actually had some screenshots of this Oasuda footage." Meanwhile, Ankh Procrastinates himself, Sam, complained, "Sonic, get the hell out of the way. I'm trying to see the weather." Brother, you should be worried about weather. You'll be able to see in the next 4 years with how you're aging. Guys, I'm only slandering Sam because that's my buddy. Anyone else who even tries something like this will be done like the Huns in Mulan. Now, the reason people are losing their minds isn't just from how random and cute this all is. Though, don't get me wrong, many people were doing just that. It's actually because these models hold some insane history behind them. What the? These are the legitimate, the original Dreamcast Sonic models, are they not? Yes, Sonic 3_duh. These are the legit, the original Dreamcast Sonic models, are they not? Gotta practice my English. Back when Sonic Adventure was being developed, it actually began as a Sega Saturn title. The Sega Saturn was known for its lack of Sonic games, with the only Sonic releases on the console being Sonic R, a pretty infamous racing game with a legendary soundtrack, as well as Sonic 3D Blast, a game that was also released on the Sega Genesis, and Sonic Jam, a collection of titles of Sonic games from the previous console, the Sega Genesis, also known as the Mega Drive if you're gross and European, or you're from other places in the world that are less gross. Alongside this collection of games in Sonic Jam was a mini open world tech demo that we'll get to in a minute. There was also a cancelled Sonic game known as Sonic Extreme that Sega thought would save the hedgehog, but after gameplay surfaced of this game online, I can say with confidence, it would not have. So, about that tech demo from 5 seconds earlier, it is widely believed that this demo, known as Sonic World, was to test the grounds for what would eventually become Sonic Adventure. Sonic Team would begin development on the Saturn, bringing these classic versions of Sonic characters to life. We know this as years later, we would be introduced to these concept renders featuring the models from the Saturn. However, due to the sheer ambition of the game, and also just how poorly the Saturn had done in the West, development would move over to the Dreamcast, where Sonic Team would eventually give Sonic a complete makeover. But before they gave Sonic and his friends colored contacts, they had made classic models for the Dreamcast around Sonic, Tails, and Dr. Eggman. At least those are the characters that we know of thus far. And we only know this because some of these models would make brief appearances in the final version of Sonic Adventure via this little mission pop-up at the start of some Sonic levels, alongside this render of Eggman that I don't even know where the origin of it comes from. I'll be completely honest. And for the longest time, these are the only evidence that these models even existed, or at least the only evidence that was widely known. As main JPW pointed out earlier, pictures of this Weather Channel segment were featured in an Italian magazine alongside a Japanese blog posting this Eggman shot. And to quote somebody in the replies of main JPW's tweet sharing this information, "So you just kept that to yourself?" In which he replies, "No, I just didn't mention it on Twitter." Okay, bud. In addition, main JPW brings up that this segment could have also aired in September of '97, where an issue of Fan Road, a Japanese anime magazine, featured Crash, Sonic, and Pikachu mascots posing with the hosts of Oasuda, with their segment premiering on the show around October to December of '97. Whatever the case, this whole situation has left fans in a state of shock. MCD Ultra DX claims, "Oh my gosh, SA1 Beta Eggman seems to be an optimized version of his R promo model. You can tell because him and his Eggmobile have the same textures." WG_Allen expresses, "Early SA1 models using their classic designs? I need a mod of this now." With Plush Second asserting, "Okay, so we obviously got the SA1 Classic models, which is huge, but another thing I haven't seen anyone mention is we haven't seen this art of Sonic before, and it's in the exact same art style as Sonic Jam and Sonic R promo material," only to be corrected by Luciano Scaronaro with, "You mean this one?" Oh, I'm just an idiot then. It's chill. No, Plush Second, you're not an idiot, because I've never seen this piece of art before in my life. Turns out, this render has also made an appearance on the cover of this Sega magazine, but with a ring theme background as opposed to the original Christmas theming. Side note, why is there so much Christmas art of Sonic around this point in time? Like we get one nowadays every once in a blue moon, but dude, from the late 90s to the 2000s, it seems like there was so much Christmas Sonic art. Turns out the artwork may have been a standalone promotional illustration for Christmas of '97 or '98, lining up with the release of Sonic Jam and of this report, hence matching the other illustrations in this art style. But man, what an interesting find. We've never seen these models in motion. It's pretty clear that Sonic's animations made their way into the Dreamcast version of Sonic Adventure, but meanwhile, Tails and Eggman seem to have entirely original animations. Of course, I'm not an expert, so if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. As well, let me know what you think about this pretty insane lost media find. Do you prefer these models over what we got in the final version of Sonic Adventure? I want to know. Also, just want to thank my patrons for their continued support in making videos like this possible, and thank you for watching. Okay, bye!